Hey everyone, today I want to come back with another video and talk about this article that I saw recently that really piqued my interest. As always, I was kind of looking through my collection of websites that I visit, and I came across this article earlier this week, I believe a couple days ago now, where I saw that the Signal messaging app actually has decided to block Windows, Windows 11, Microsoft Recall screenshots. For those of you who don't know, essentially Windows Recall is a feature on Windows 11. I think it's Copilot plus PCs, or maybe they've rolled it out to all PCs now. But essentially, it's a feature that over time will take screenshots of like your system and what you're doing, and it'll catalog it in an SQL. I think it's an SQLite or some sort of smaller database, right? And what you can do later on is go back with AI and kind of query those images, and you can ask it like, hey, what was I doing on this day, or help me find this website I was looking for, blah blah blah, right? And Microsoft wants to create a way so that you can kind of have like screenshots of everything that you did. Now, when this first came out, like any sane person, in my opinion, like any security minded person, right? This is like a huge red flag. Like, why would you want something constantly capturing what you're doing? To me, it's basically spyware. It's the definition of like a keylogger. Literally, it's spyware, right? Because you don't know what Microsoft is doing with those screenshots. They say it's locally on your system, yeah, but Microsoft, Windows 11, right? Closed source operating system, you have no idea what they're doing, on the back end, right? There's been leaks over the years, but you won't be able to see it 100% for sure, right? So, biggest thing here is with recall. For me, it's a red flag, right? And like it should be, essentially, it's literally it's a perfect example of spyware. I know I've created some sample spyware myself just for like lab testing and stuff, and I've kind of made a thing that would take screenshots of your PC and send it to a remote server just for fun. I was just trying out stuff to learn malware and spyware, stuff like that. And literally, that's like a key feature in some modern spyware too, is that it takes screenshots and stuff like that. But essentially here, kind of going away from the more negative side of this now, the more positive side of this is that I think, Signal messaging, right? For those of you who don't know, it's a end-to-end encrypted messaging app. Lots of people use it. I use it, and I think it's a lot of famous people that have been fighting censorship have used it, like Edward Snowden and whatnot. But basically, the Signal app on Windows 11, they decided that they're like, hey, we don't want screenshots being taken of people that are using or that are sending messages via Signal, right? Because Signal is a privacy-focused app, and they're like, that breaks kind of like not their first rule, but the whole point of the app. If it's not going to be a private app, then why even allow Windows to do this? So basically, what Signal did is this is a pretty smart move by them, in my opinion. Basically, what they do is they used a DRM, digital rights management, flag on their app in Windows. So essentially, what that is if you've ever tried to, let's say if you have like the Netflix app on your phone or even your computer or some other device, right? If you've ever tried to like screen record something or of that matter, right? Usually what'll happen is you can get the audio, but the app will have a black screen over it because it has a digital rights management. Essentially what that does is it's exiting out. You can't really capture the screen because there's like a flag over it saying, hey, you can't capture this, it's copyright information. It's Netflix's way, and I guess in this case it's Signal's way of not allowing Windows to see what's going on there. It's used a lot of times in copyright things, like TV and whatnot or whatever. I know you could probably figure out a different way to capture this if you have like a capture card or some form of splitter, but I think what Signal did is, a good thing, right? It shows that, hey, we care about the privacy of our customers, of our end users. I shouldn't say customers, end users. And, they just don't want to deal with it, right? Because when Windows decides to make dumb moves like this and implement something that really has no benefit other than to literally spy on what you're doing and have a dumb AI catalog of photos that clogs up your system, right? It wasn't a good decision by Windows to make recall, in my opinion. But the way Signal is doing this and kind of combating this, feature, I think we'll probably start to see lots of other softwares and maybe other companies do this with Windows. For example, if you take into account, right, most of corporate America, they use Windows as their OS. That's what we have where I work. You can't do Linux, unfortunately. I mean, you can for like our servers and stuff, but there's Windows at work. All the executives use it, right? So maybe in the future there'll be some opt out thing, because companies aren't going to want this there, because this is just asking for trouble. If you have a developer working on something and they're typing in their credentials, or maybe they just have them, in clear text for a minute as they're testing an application, and Windows decides to take a recall snapshot of that. Who's to say that if someone gets in, finds a way in the company and gets into that developer's computer, whatever, right? And if they get in there, they can, maybe they'll be smart. Be like, oh, let's just see if they have recall enabled. And boom, go query those images and see what passwords and stuff are available there. But, just kind of really wanted to point out, like, I'm proud of Signal for doing this, and I think it's a step in the right direction. But, and this is something that I hope, like, Linux will never have a recall feature. I mean, if they do, it would be probably something that's open source. But, anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'd be interested to hear what you guys saying. Let me know down in the comments below. And that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys later. Peace.